Oh god, I'm late. I'm so late. Why did the World Cup have to be right on the turn of the month? I'm so sorry, guys, and I really don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's get going. If you're new here, this is the third installment of This Month in Competitive Overwatch, where I talk about the biggest news in the Overwatch community from Tier 3 all the way up to Tier 1. I will be leaving timestamps for each section in the description, so if you don't care about lower tiers of play, then you can just skip right on to Overwatch League. If there's something I mentioned that you think I missed, then there's usually two reasons for it. One, it's just a leak and has not been confirmed by official sources, and two, it happened in November because I'm making this video 1/3 into November. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Let's just dive in. By the end of October, all regions outside of Korea had finished their trial seasons. I'd like to give a hearty congratulations to all the teams who qualified and will play in Contenders Season 3. Here are the winners from North America, South America, Europe, China, Australia, and Pacific. Thanks to everyone who competed, and to anyone who didn't qualify. I hope to see you back in the fray for Season 4. While Contender Season 3 is getting ready to start up, Blizzard announced some major changes in the way that Contenders is formatted starting from Season 4 onwards. There will now be only 2 teams a year instead of 3, but each season will be longer. Every region is shrinking from 12 teams to 8, which Blizzard hopes will increase the overall level of competition. However, North America is going to be split into 2 regions, NA East and NA West, in order to accommodate for the large amount of Academy teams. Any new Academy teams will automatically be given a spot into Contenders Seasons 4 and 5, with relegations returning to normal afterwards. Soft region locking has been introduced, with each team now only allowed to have 3 members who do not live in the region that they represent. There's also going to be a change to pricing in order to, quote, more heavily reward top teams. Now, we don't know whether this means they're going to raise the overall prize pool or just shift the money around to better benefit the top teams. It's probably going to be the latter. This change has been met with mixed reactions from the community, with some saying that it's necessary to maintain the ecosystems, while others say that non-Academy teams are being forced out. At this point, though, the changes are locked, so all we can do is wait and see what the effects will be. The Boston Uprising made several moves this month. First, the team acquired Gunbuff, formerly of the LA Valiant and Team Australia, as an assistant coach. One day later, they announced that Spackle will be their new analyst, as Mr. Bleeple decided to continue his education. Next, the team announced the signing of Blase, the flex DPS from the Gladiators Legion, and Neko left to join a new team, but I'll get to that later. Finally, the team announced that both the main tank Axiom and the DPS Color Hex would be getting promoted from Toronto Esports. I do feel like I have to mention that this month a story released about the Boston Uprising that accused them of a lot of things, a lot of bad things, including segregating the team between Korean players and Western players, infighting between the players and staff, low salaries while not raising them for Season 2, bad housing, mistreatment of players and staff, and an incompetent volatile leader in Huck. This story prompted a written response from Huck defending himself, and then also responses to his response from former players Neko and Kalios. It's too much to go through here, but I will leave all necessary links in the description if you want to hear more. The Dallas Fuel announced that Closer was going to be joining their team for Season 2. Closer was, of course, a member of the championship-winning London Spitfire, but was generally the 7th man out in favor of Nuss in the main support role. It is assumed that he will take, or at the very least share, the starting main support role with Harry Hook. The Florida Mayhem announced the addition of Barehands as Assistant General Manager and Head of Scouting. Barehands was the Director of Player Personnel for the NYXL beforehand. They then announced the additions of 3 new players: the main support Chris from Meta Athena, the DPS BQB from X6 Gaming, and the main tank Swan from NRG. There was some immediate outrage, especially from the Korean community, as BQB has previously been fined from X6 for the promotion of boosting, but we'll see if the Overwatch League decides to take any further punishment. With this, the Mayhem's rebuild for Season 2 seems to be mostly complete. To get my extended thoughts on the roster, click the iCard showing up right about now. While the Houston Outlaws haven't done much with their team, Kai was released from the team, and it seems to be the result of the controversies that their parent company, Infinite Esports, has been going through as of late, which includes attempting to own more than one contenders team at once, and trying to sign players to really big contracts. The whole thing is really a huge mess, and again, I will link the VP Esports article in the description if you want to know more about that situation. In a skit, the LA Gladiators announced 2 new additions to their roster, the DPS player Decay and the main tank Roar, both from Kongdu Panthera. Both of these players are really highly regarded in the community, so I can't wait to see what they do on stage. This month, the LA Valiant announced that they had parted ways with coaches Gunba and Damon, as well as Hitscan DPS player Soon. Soon was able to find a new home, but we'll get to that later. The London Spitfire announced 2 new acquisitions this month. First was Guard, a Hitscan DPS player from Element Mystic. Second was Krillin, who, interestingly, is a flex support player who has never gotten better than last place in Korean Contenders Trials Season 1. His team Crusher failed to even qualify for Trials in Season 2. Could we have a Jonak 2 on our hands? The NYXL announced Nugget, a former coach of the Seoul Dynasty, as the new general manager of their team. They also promoted Flower, who has changed his name back from Nanohana, to the main team. While Flower wasn't that great on XL2, all you need to do is look at his amazing performance in the Overwatch World Cup 2017, and you can't deny that he has a lot of upside as a flex DPS player. The Philadelphia Fusion announced that they had traded the flex player Hotba to the Guangzhou expansion team. Hotba's Overwatch League Season 1 was a mixed bag of underwhelming performances and flashes of incredible flexibility, so it'll be fun to see how he does on this new roster. The San Francisco Shock announced the signing of Violet, the flex support player formerly from O2 Ardiant. With the signing of Violet, the Shock are just 1 Korean main support away from having a full team of 6 Western players and 6 Korean players. What is their plan for Season 2? The Seoul Dynasty announced the additions of 3 more players. They got the Lucky Future Zenith tank duo of Marvel and Michelle, as well as Jesse, the main support player from Element Mystic. I'm very interested to see how the Dynasty use their new depth. The Shanghai Dragons announced 6 new signings to their roster. Firstly, they signed all of the Kongdu Panthera players that the Gladiators didn't get. The flex player Didiang, the DPS player Youngjin, and the support duo of Luffy and Koma. It'll be really cool to watch this roster play against each other in Season 2. To round them out, the Dragons also added DM, the DPS player from Lucky Future Zenith, and Guardian, the flex tank from Toronto Esports. To hear my extended thoughts on the new roster, click the link in the upper right corner that's showing up right now. Atlanta was the first expansion team to announce their branding for Overwatch League Season 2, playing very normal for their region with a red bird logo and becoming the Atlanta Reign. Later, this team revealed their roster for the upcoming Overwatch League season. This includes the Element Mystic tank line of Pakpo and Dako, the support duo of Masa from Giganti, and Kodak from Snakes and Team Germany, the first German in Overwatch League, by the way, congrats on that. And for DPS, we have LML's Lair, Lucky Future Zenith Erster, and of course, the extremely popular streamer Defran. This is a team with a lot of upside, and I can't wait to see what they do. The Paris Overwatch League team released their roster shortly after Atlanta released their branding. Paris is marketing themselves as the champions of Europe, fielding only European players. Joining the 2 fan favorites Soon from the LA Valiant and Shadowburn from the Philadelphia Fusion are Nico, a flex DPS player from Eagle Gaming and Team France, Danye, another flex DPS player from the Copenhagen Flames, and I must add, the first Polish player in the Overwatch League, so congrats. They also have Finzi, the former LA Valiant flex tank, main tanks LH Cloudy from Giganti, and about a month with the Mayhem Academy, and Ben Best from Young and Beautiful and Team France. On support, they have Hype from Eagle Gaming and Cruz from Toronto Esports and Team UK. I cannot wait to see how they do. Toronto was the second team to reveal their branding, turning into the Toronto Defiant. They also revealed their first 6 players, the former Uprising flex support Neko, the former Valiant and Metabellum flex tank Envy, the DPS duo Ivy and Stellar from O2 Ardiant, the main tank Lycan, formerly Yakpun, who is also from O2 Ardiant, and finally Aid, the former main support player for GGEA. They still need at least 2 more players, so it'll be interesting to see who they choose to round out their roster. And that's it. All of the official news in the competitive Overwatch community as of the end of October. Once again, I'm sorry for being so late. The Overwatch World Cup just happened, and I wanted to get some content on that done, and before I knew it, we were a third of the way through November. Well, I hope this video is helpful nonetheless. Was there anything I missed? Yell at me in the comments about it, and if you're right, I'll heart it so that everyone else can see. Finally, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more competitive Overwatch content. I try and release at least one video every week. Until next time though, that's all from me. Don't get tilted.